Chokers.
Hello, everybody. I'm James.
Hi, everyone. This is Neil.
And this is my very old friend,
Very
long time friend, Kabir Singh.
Yeah, let's first come to the conclusion that who knows me longest.
Yeah, I know you longest.
Yeah, but Neil doesn't agree with that.
Yeah, quality matters more than quantity.
Quality doesn't matter.
He's been to my house many times. Have you been to his house?
Yeah, have you ever been to your house?
Have you been in his car?
He doesn't know it.
Have
but
you been on his motorbike?
He doesn't know it, but I have been
you gone
in his
down on
house.
me?
Have you gone down on him?
I mean, if we're talking about things that we've done,
That's true. Good point.
Well, I have yet to experience the pleasure of Kabir. Welcome, Kabir is an actor.
that's a definition I never thought I'd receive.
Really?
I am just an actor.
Just an actor. Well, in terms
What
of,
did you say?
I said he's an actor.
I am a human being.
Yeah. No, but we're like, for context for Chukas, you're an actor,
Yes.
and a model,
Don't give me that
and a
title.
model.
Don't.
He's a model. He's a model.
If I'm with an agency that has the word model in their name, does not make me a model.
What
Just
makes you a model?
starving?
Oh,
No, seriously, I did New York Fashion Week when I was 19, and
Wow.
all they did was starve us in the background, in like the back, while doing hair and makeup, while entrees are going out from the back to the
Really?
to the actual people, and they're like, "You're not allowed to have water or eat anything." And I'm just like,
Oh, you don't even have to have water,
"No,
right?
nothing,"
Yeah.
because you need your jewels to be very skewed, so the brand looks like there's
Wow.
actual models walking that shit.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
So you starve, and then you do 2 walks, and then you get paid pennies.
Really? You get paid pennies?
They pay you much less to walk the catwalk or the ramp than actually like a photo shoot in like a studio.
Oh.
Yeah, ramp walks they'll pay you like $500 a walk, or
Right.
Well,
compared to a photo shoot.
Oh, the stereotype is true.
Thousands. Yeah.
The whole stereotype. You don't eat much and don't get paid much.
Well, I thought they get paid a lot. That's all.
Yeah, big models.
Yeah.
What's the actor's name again now from 50 Shades of Grey?
Jamie Dornan.
Jamie Dornan, yeah. He had a hectic story. He started off as a model, but he paid his way for his acting through modeling. And to be honest, go.
Sure, no, you can definitely make money off it. I've made money from modeling, but it's empty for me.
Honestly, talking about that guy, I wish people saw his other films and then he did 50 Shades of Grey.
What are his other stuff?
Yeah.
No, what is his other stuff? I'm not familiar.
That film called Judot Wheel. What is that? Something?
Yeah, and then he also did recently with about the IRA.
Yeah. No, well, I did a series with him. I did The Tourist.
The
but
Tourist.
I didn't.
Nominated for an actor award.
I know. I just saw that.
Yeah, wonderful. Congratulations.
He was nominated for Best Actor, which is fantastic. I mean, I didn't have any scenes with him, but I was in the series. It was cool.
Yeah,
He's great.
yeah.
I really like him.
Yeah. No, I found out that he'd moved. So what he does, his kids are homeschooled. So
Wow.
So if he's doing, he was shooting this series in Adelaide, he moved his entire family over to Adelaide for like 6 months, and they were being homeschooled by the wife, and he's acting. Like, that's the kind of fucking supportive relationship you want as an actor. So he's like, listen, just move your life for me to Australia for 6 months, and then we'll move back to the States.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I don't. Homeschooling. I mean,
What, I was homeschooled.
you were homeschooled.
I just thought I'll give you the shock of your life. How dare you talk about
yeah, but homeschooling would be damn difficult, like when you grow up with socializing and stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It's gotta be.
If you think about it, homeschool is like your mum coaching you, right?
Yeah.
Or your dad, one of the
Yeah,
parents.
yeah.
My mum was my school teacher in India for like from 0 to year 6.
Because she's
Right.
a teacher.
So I
Sorry,
kind of
she
was
is-
schooled by a home teacher.
I think for me,
Auntie is an actual teacher, by the way.
Yeah,
She's a
she's
teacher.
the thing that I've just to derail into homeschooling, even though we've brought you
podcast
on
is all about derailing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's about the important thing is about understanding proper socialization skills
Correct.
that even when you have, I understand homeschooling, you've got lots of extracurricular activities anyway that you're supposed to meet up with other people, but honestly, the amount of time you spend in your family just outweighs that. And so you end up having, sometimes you can have a bit of stunted, social kind of abilities. But the most successful homeschool families that I've seen have really large families. Yeah. I think that's because you end up having not the same relationship with all your siblings. It's like you actually have siblings that you don't get along with, But anyway, segue. So you came to Australia when you were 10.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
This guy has got me cut so much.
We've only got like 30 minutes with this guy. And
We're 6 minutes in and we haven't even started talking about Kabir yet.
I know. We talked about the tourist. What was your experience on the tourist?
No, let's go back. Let's go back to his...
Back to what?
To him.
We are going back to him, the tourist.
Okay, fine.
His experience on the tourist.
I'm sure he'll tell us about it afterwards.
So you were playing like a generic Indian on the tourist, right? So...
Yes, I was playing...
You were like a shopkeeper or something.
I was playing a taxi driver.
A taxi driver.
Yeah.
Right, which...
The most generic of Indians.
The most generic
of castings ever done. No. But, no, the casting was... I can't remember who it was done by, but... where I was in Melbourne at the time. I was shooting a series in Melbourne start of last year, so 2021, for like 5-6 months. It was a 15-day shoot, what I was told, and then COVID lockdowns literally extended it to 4.5 months. So I was stuck in Melbourne. I couldn't go back for my sister's wedding.
Wow.
My relationship broke down.
Oh no.
So, but I was like, fuck it. Like we were shooting out in like whoop whoop.
Yeah.
So, when I was planning to go back to Sydney, Melbourne went into lockdown, and then vice versa. I just kept alternating.
Yeah.
But during that time, they were casting obviously for this character, and I sent a self-tape through from the shoot I was doing, and I got a call back, and I think what had happened is that they had casted someone else, I think, and they were from Sydney, and at that time Sydney was in lockdown, so they had to then get me in, I guess, and then I did a callback with the director Daniel Nethiam, who is an amazing person, and yeah, I nailed the role, and then I got the part. And they flew me to Adelaide. And you know what's funny? That the discrepancy between the two sets I was working on. Now, this is like I was working on an indie sort of TV series where I was promised my own room. And when I got there, I was put up in the production house with another actor from Sydney. And they're like, share the bed. And I was like, are you fucking
share the
me?
bed?
Yeah. I mean, we became really close friends after that.
Of course, you had to share a bed.
Share a bed.
No, we didn't have to eventually. But, after like 3 days, I was like, all right, this is enough. Like... you've got all your actors from Melbourne. You fly over 2 lead actors from Sydney, but you can't even give us our own rooms. Anyways, it was a fuck all production. But they had a decent budget, but not compared to the Stan budget, right? So I'm on this series, and like their idea of feeding people breakfast was toast,
Really,
and butter and coffee and tea. That's it. They're like, oh, that's breakfast, and I had to intervene.
Really, yeah.
So on this set, literally, I was brought in as an actor, but I was cooking for 60, 70 people every day.
Wow.
And I didn't get paid for it. I was just like...
Really? They didn't even offer anything?
No, well, I was just like, I'm not going to let people fucking starve and eat terrible food, especially working in the COVID climate.
Yeah.
It was raining, cold, and there was, they put us up in bunk beds. And it was fine. Like, accommodation was whatever. Yeah. You wherever you lay your head, you'll sleep. Because you're working on set, you're living the dream. Yeah. But feeding people is such an essential thing on set. Like, if you're working for like peanuts, feed us decent food so we can, sustain ourselves. So anyway, I was cooking for like 60, 70 people, and everyone was super grateful that I was like, just chopping hundreds of onions and this and that. And I was like, I'm happy to do it. Like, that's my living back home. Yeah. And so on one side, I'm doing this, and on the other side, I get a 5-day shoot in Adelaide. Yeah. And they fly me over, I've got, taxi fare, they've sent me a car. I get there, they put me in the nicest hotel room.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's super nice. Worst thing happens, as soon as I get there, I'm straight into costume tests, makeup tests, because it's like a quick turnaround. Yeah. and I was working with Shalom Broom Franklin. She's a whopper actress.
Okay. Yeah.
She's quite good. She's been in a lot of things. And I had this like 3 day shoot, and as soon as I get there, I'm in a fuckload of pain. And so I've got like pain in the back of my head, and I'm just going, something's going wrong. Little segue, I'd say a year prior to this, and I haven't actually ever revealed this to anyone.
Oh, really? So we get the exclusive scoop.
You get the exclusive. A year prior to this, end of 2019, I got diagnosed with blood cancer. So 6 months I was in the hospital. I quit acting. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm not doing this shit anymore. I sent my agent a long ass mail saying, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm done. I'm done with the rejection. Like, just the whole world of, our world, which is full of disappointments but also, great experiences. But after like a life-threatening thing, I was like, I'm done with this shit. And then my agent kind of like dragged me back in slowly, saying Shantaram's casting, and he knew how much I really wanted to do Shantaram, even though I got no role in it. Unfortunately, I auditioned for something, but I didn't get it, and he dragged me back in, and that way I've eventually eased myself back into the acting. I say like towards the end of 2020 again. So back to Adelaide. I get to Adelaide and I'm in a lot of pain. I'm just going to set, but it's unbearable pain. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I'm, doing makeup tests and then going to set and then shooting and just trying to keep a very professional attitude and like, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to do well. This is like a big deal for me.
Yeah.
And during the same time, I'm auditioning for... I'm sure. I think you also got it right, Neil. The audition for Furiosa. At that time, they had like a cattle call of like this one monologue. Yeah. So I'm putting this monologue down and like in the hotel room, like being a rock star. But I'm still in a lot of pain and I'm not sleeping. Eventually, I finished the 4-day shoot, and that night when I came back from the shoot, and I just couldn't handle the pain anymore. And I call my dad and I'm like crying on the phone. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, it's so much pain. I think I'm going to die.
Wow.
Especially experiencing almost dying like a year and a half ago. So I was like still in that place. I'm like, well, this is it. Like I relapsed like 3 times then, and like it's probably come back. It's something else. I don't know. I'm panicking. And then that morning, 4 a.m., I got up and I was like, I can't take this anymore. I go down to the reception. I'm like, you need to call me a fucking ambulance. And then they're like, well, you don't have... So I had a flight that morning at 7. So I'd call production first saying, you need to reschedule my flight. I'm going to be going to the hospital. I'm in a lot of pain. And I was like, our ambulance costs too much money. So I called a cab to the hospital.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And the hospital wasn't too far. Went to the hospital, went to emergency, and they diagnosed me with shingles.
Shingles?
Yeah, which is like an adult version of chickenpox, right?
Wait, shingles is chickenpox?
An adult version. So it's a virus that's reactivated in your body.
Oh.
It's actually more deadly when you actually get older.
No, I know. I've heard, back in the old times, I heard a lot of people died of shingles.
No, so shingles, if you look up in terms of pain ratio, it's one of the most painful things, close to like giving birth and having a heart attack.
Wow.
It's because it happens on your nerve path, and it was right on my scalp.
Oh,
it was under my hair. So the doctors were like, how have you survived? So like usually if you get shingles, if you come in within 72 hours, we can treat it. Otherwise, there's no treatment for it.
Jeez.
And I'm going, fuck my life. Like, how much shit can happen in the last, like, 2 years? I'm so done with this shit. Anyway, I'm in the hospital. And they're like, well, here's some endone and here's some painkillers and some nerve pain, fucking this medicine, that medicine. I'm already on, like, other medicine, like cancer meds. So I'm like, well, fuck it, more meds, no problem. And they like, well, just catch a flight, but make sure you wear a hairnet. Because it's infectious if people are like touching your hair and putting your nose in your hair, and I'm like, oh, I won't let anyone put my nose or lick my hair or anything. Imagine, I didn't know that, but if I told the production, I would have been like sent home. And I guess if the production watches this interview, they'll be like, oh my God.
Yeah, but you didn't know about it. So
I didn't know about it. Anyway, so I spent the 4 days after the shoot in the hospital in Adelaide, then flew back to Melbourne, and then spent 5 days in the hospital in Melbourne. Because of my prior health conditions, they had to check everything.
Yeah, right.
You know, like if it's been caused by the cancer, it was a clot or anything, whatever. So I was in the hospital for 5 days, and they had then pushed my Melbourne shoot a couple of days because they're like, all right, well, he's in the hospital. And they had to shoot this day, and I was getting out of the hospital the next day. And they're like, well, what we're going to do, we got a wig for your character. We're going to use a body double. And I saw it, and they sent me the photo of the wig. And I'm just like, fuck no, you're not using that wig or a body double. And especially for the opening scene for my character in the series.
Yeah, right.
And it's like, he's, being pushed around by thugs, and he's crying, and he's, it's an emotional scene.
Yeah,
for him.
yeah.
And they're like, oh, we'll just shoot it from the back with like a long shot. And I'm just like, fuck no, you're not doing that. That's like my title scene, man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, screw this. I spoke to the doctor. So I'm like, I need to get out of here. They're like, all right, your blood tests have come back all right, but you still need rest. You can't like be running around and all that shit. I'm like, fuck this. And I go straight to set from the hospital.
Wow.
And I went and shot that scene first thing in the morning at 8 a.m. And obviously all that pain was there, so I kind of just used it, and the scene came out great.
Yeah, great.
And the whole day was just like, they literally gave me an on-set PA just to bring me a chair to sit down between takes because I had zero energy.
Yeah, wow.
I was just, giving everything on the take and just sitting down and just like passing out. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of running and stuff in those scenes, like we're running away from the thugs and whatnot. And at the end of the day, like, everyone fucking clapped, going like, thank you for coming back. I'm like, I won't jeopardize the integrity of my character even if I'm like halfway dying. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if I've already invested so much time, what's investing a little bit more, even if I'm like not 100% there at all?
Yeah.
So it's great. So the full answer about what we always talk about, that would you still be doing this if you're dying or dead? There you go. That's the answer right there.
Yeah.
You're going to still be doing this no matter what.
Yeah, I think if I've made the decision to invest my time, my effort, then I'm going to do it fully. I'm going to finish the thing. Otherwise, doing something half-hearted, like I've done things that are half-hearted and they've always turned out shit. Like projects especially, like, so if I've invested in myself, I'm going to do it fully. Otherwise, because even if there's a slight chance that someone might see this, I don't want to come off as second best.
Yeah.
That's I think that's like my competitive nature with myself. Because as an actor, you don't compete with other actors. Because if they got the role, like me and Neil
And I. Sorry.
That's one. Sorry. That's one to Neil.
like,
Sorry, I'm just.
was that worth the interruption?
Sorry.
Was that really worth it, Neil? Like, did you get it out of your system now?
I did.
But I don't see. I mean, I don't personally see
I was
how
trying to make points.
this face competes with this face. I mean, what kind of connection do you two have, really?
We're brown.
Well, you're what?
We're
Oh, you kind of are, aren't you?
Color.
You kind of are a little bit. Yeah. Oh, I see that. Yeah.
We have a
Wouldn't
couple
have-
of shades of grey in us.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
I'm many shades of grey.
We're not Jamie Dornan grey, but we have a couple of shades.
It's like I'm darkness.
Have you ever had a sex scene in a film or a TV series?
No.
The first time, I mean, like going back to a story with what the fuck's his name? I keep forgetting.
What? Which one?
With Paul.
Pollyanna?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the boyfriend's name?
James Shepherd.
James Shepherd. They're not together anymore, are they?
No.
Sorry, James. I just had to confirm. No, so going back to that, like, and going to sex scene segues, but those are the most just tiring things mentally, especially if you have a partner that's a little bit insecure, because there's the behind the scenes of explaining to your partner, going, this is what a sex scene is, this is what happened, it's all professional, there's no like, but yes, we're gonna act like it's amazing and it's intimate and it's beautiful, but really there's nothing there. So there's that part, and then there's the part of like lights and a close set
People watching.
and kissing over and over again, and your lips getting chapped, and your breath, you're getting conscious, going, oh my God, my breath stinks. So there's all these things in a sex scene, and they're the worst. Like, seriously. So kudos to actors who make it look incredible and going, oh my God, they're like really going at it, but really they're having the worst times of their lives. Just want to put that out there, guys, for all the partners who think sex scenes are amazing. And for all the partners, because I've had this with my past partners who've had issues with, you know, your boyfriend doing sex scenes. That was the given when you get into a relationship. Like, it's part of our jobs.
Part of our jobs, yeah.
Yeah, so get used to it or get out of the relationship.
Oh, well, yeah.
Toxic fucks.
So let's go back to what you were saying about you and I.
Yeah, you and I. Oh, yeah, so, yeah, me and Neil, I don't know where that conversation was going. Where were we?
So they're being similar type of people and going for similar roles.
Oh, competing against yourself.
Competing actors, yeah.
Yeah, so in general, I feel like, you know, it's stupid to compete against other actors. Like me and Neil, I was saying that we, not always, but at most of the times we go for similar roles, you know, just because obviously we're people of color, we're Indian, and you know how castings are these days, where it's just like, we accept all races and all ethnicities and we are inclusive, but really you're looking for a white person because you're casting for a fucking Jake. Okay, you're just putting us in the mix. And I have this argument with my agent all the time, Ben Anthony, and you know it's a fucking amazing dude. He believed in me. I love you, Anthony, and that's why I'm back in the game. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here anymore. But you know, I have this argument with him all the time that I'm like, why are you sending me roles of like, you know, like Aussie mate, Aussie bloke, blah, 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 blah. But we're open to all ethnicities. You're like, you're not really. You're just throwing us in the mix just so we can feel included.
Yeah.
Really, that glass ceiling, that barrier still is there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's very evident to people of color, people of different ethnicities. But they're, you know, it's just like, but we're trying, man. Like,
You're bullshitting us.
yeah, it's not. It's not really there still. You know, like I've had a bit of a problem. Okay, in the last 6 months, I have not gotten a single call back, and that's the truth. All right, and I've been auditioning for big shit. And I think the last year, after like I got away from the whole cancer, and you know, finally in like remission after like 3 relapses. I was in a place where I just didn't give a fuck. If I get the role, I don't get the role. I don't care if you're Scorsese or the biggest director in the world. I am not sucking your dick. Like, I'm not desperate for anything. You want to give it to me if you think I'm worthy, give it to me. Otherwise, I don't care. I've got other shit to do. I've got, you know, I'm also a business owner now. And I think that's given me a lot of freedom. The fact that my energy is and efforts are going into building something that's a little bit more material than the dream of an actor, I guess.
That's something,
to put it lightly.
Yeah, but that's something we talked about like the other day about like how, like the old actors back in the day, they actually had other jobs in the real world before they became actors, whereas a lot of us, I guess, we want to become actors from the age of 10, whatever, you know. And, but I think it's important that you are in the real world and you go do things and then understand it and then come back in, you know. I think there's too many actors who don't do that. There's too many actors who don't study other things or have other interests. It's like, I just want to become an actor. But a lot of the famous, you know, we talk about like Oliver Stone and Clint Eastwood and other actors in that era, they had other jobs. They were in the military, they were lawyers, they had doctors, life experience. And then they came and told the story of what was happening in the world like Oliver Stone does, right? That's what he did. And same thing with us in a way. Like, we need to actually go in the world and live the life and not constantly think. And the other thing is that we've spoke about a few times is that we continuously put actors and entertainers on this pedestal, or who, like they're God. We're really not. We just. I feel that we have a fantastic job. I think one of the most honorable jobs, careers to have, and by the same time, the real heroes out there are like the doctors and the law and nurses and people who work on the streets and who put the lights up and all of them. If these people weren't in the community or in our world, we'll be fucked. Yeah. Like we wouldn't be able to do our job. Like even on set, for example, who's doing all the everyone in the crew, like the little jobs, whatever. They'll probably go back home and they have a small ass home, a small bed, like minimum wage, struggling through. They are the heroes. Not. I mean, we struggle as well, of course.
Yeah.
But I'm tired of us putting entertainers as gods. We're not gods.
I think it comes down to actors feeling super entitled with the job that they have and then the responsibility that they have. Don't get me wrong. During the pandemic, all right, let's talk about the world going to shit, right? And during the pandemic, what were the things that actually helped us survive? Yes, doctors, nurses, hospitals, the army and the police and all of that, the public servants, right? Who work for the needs of others. But then where the fuck would you have been without content? And that's what makes our job super fucking important, I think, in our day and age. All right, if today you decide to never read a book again, to never watch TV, to never read a poem, to never go to a library, to never play a fucking board game, do anything that's even remotely related to creativity, you would kill yourself. Yeah. Like seriously. If you are just with yourself and your own thoughts, unless you're a monk, you're all right. But in the world that we live in, there's so much chaos. There's so much shit that we're surrounded with. You open our phone, there's fucking notifications, messages, Instagram, OnlyFans, this, that. There's so much shit for you to do where people have forgotten to just come back to this body and just remember that you're a human being capable of achieving great fucking things. Yeah.
And that's I mean, that's why in history, a lot of tyrants and even the dictators around in history, they kill off or they burn their artists, because artists and creatives, because that's how you get rid of a culture. You would get rid of a culture, get rid of a civilization.
Because artists can incite thoughts and ideas that weren't previously there. An artist can, just off one line, can incite fucking hatred or it can be used for the good or the bad, really. And in the past, we've seen that it's always been used for the bad. Besides the Shakespeareans and all the great writers, and even Shakespeare, even though he was writing beautiful things, he was still condemned for all that he did. At the end of the day, so
yeah, no, this really ties in back to our previous podcast that we're talking about Cheyenne and Della about what's happening in Iran right now, and the importance of the arts in affirming our humanity, especially. But enough of that shit. What did you want to talk about? You wanted to talk about some shit. You wanted to bring up some stuff.
First, can I ask some questions about
No, we're running out of time.
No, we don't have time.
We don't have time.
He's going to edit the shit out.
You wanted. He doesn't edit the shit. He formats it. Okay. What do you want to talk about? There's some things you wanted to talk about. Because we've got a lot of content already, for our purposes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some shit I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I have 2-3 questions to ask.
3 questions?
I have 3 questions to ask.
Ask him in your own time.
No, but it's important because I'll ask you one. Okay. I'll ask you one and then you can continue. Okay, fine. Okay, so Kabir has been in India and he did some acting in India as well, right? And obviously Bollywood was a huge industry, and I just wanted to know the differences because you also done some work in LA and now you're obviously in Australia. What do you find that the differences between India, let's say India and America, and
so Hollywood and Bollywood.
Yeah.
To put it very simply.
Yeah.
Major differences. There's always 2 industries in an industry. There's the commercial side, and then there's the side that's actually making films and making cinema. Right, so even in Bollywood, there's Bollywood, which is for the masses and the song and dance, and there's really no fucking storyline. It's all the same bullshit, Then they just redoing the same thing over and over again. What was made in 1940s, they just, reinventing the wheel. I feel like all original ideas, or at least creatives, need to come up with more original ideas.
Yeah.
I feel like they have to stop reinventing the wheel. Like, I mean, look at this prime example of a Black Adam. There's going to be unlimited amounts of superheroes, and they're going to just keep feeding us the same bullshit. A superhero rises, he saves the world, and then there's going to be a fucking sequel, and it's just like, stop feeding us bullshit. All right, like,
So
Bollywood really is that, and I think only recently, since the launch of Netflix, Amazon, and all these OTT platforms, is really creatives have started taking risks, right? And now the Indian government is trying to, what's the word, like, censor the OTT platforms to an extent where, like, because on OTT platforms now there's kissing, there's sex. In Indian cinema, which didn't exist in the past. So it's interesting, and I think there's definitely actual content and actual stories being told, but now there's just a lot of crap because people have such short attention spans that they just want to go 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Oh, share this. That shit. I feel like cinema is slowly dying. People want to go to the cinema to be told an actual story and being lost because they're sick of just consuming bullshit.
Is this in India or America or anywhere?
I think this kind of goes broader
board,
on both aspects. But I feel like Hollywood, or for the lack of a better word, they're still making good content that actually does make it to cinema. But in India, I feel like the OTT platforms rule now, and the cinema is just kind of there for the uneducated half of India, really, that will just kind of consume whatever's given to them. But it's vastly different if you're going there. Like in India, there's no agents. There really are, but they're not really working as agents work here. You don't really have privacy over there. Like here, you get a casting, you'll have your 15 minutes or your 10 minutes in the room with a casting director alone. In India, you'll literally be in a room outside of the actual casting room, fighting with hundreds of actors going, I came first. No, I came first. And they have a list where you come and you write your name down and they call you from the list. But then maybe the casting director's friends come and then like, oh, no, those guys can wait. My friends can go first. It's all that bullshit, So you're waiting in a waiting room for like an hour and a half. And by the time of that, you're just like, fuck this. I don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm done. I don't want to even give this audition. And you don't care by the time you get into the room. And the fact of the matter is, like in India, like I have been offered big roles, but they don't want to pay you. So firstly, actors will always negotiate their own salary. And you know how hard that is to do? When they're saying, all right, we want you for this ad, but we can only offer you $500 for the day. That's the first ad I did in India for Jabong, which like went worldwide famous, won like lots of awards. They got a director from the UK, Harvey Brown, who's like a fashion film director, came and directed this thing. I got paid $500 for this ad, which has over 2 million views on YouTube.
Yeah. And
I had to negotiate my own salary because I just came to Bombay, and they're like, well, you're a nobody. This is what we can pay you. If you don't want to do it, we'll give it to someone else. So there's no agent to really negotiate. As an artist, you're in jeopardy if you say no to that job, and then you lose the job if you don't take the money they're offering you. If you're saying, oh no, I want $1,000, they're like, yeah, well, we can get someone cheaper. Because you're dispensable as fuck in India. There's 1,000 people land on the doors of Mumbai every single day from all around India to become actors because some person somewhere, in your life said, you do a good Shah Rukh Khan impression. Yeah. Yeah, you should go to Bollywood, man. And those rooms outside the casting office are filled with people who don't really understand the job as an actor. They're there mostly for the fame, or they're there mostly because someone told them so, and then within a year they'll be back in their houses going, well, I'll just do daddy's business. I'll just, whatever. So there's a lot of faff over there. In Australia, I feel like if you are, or maybe not in the US, but in Australia, I feel like if you're actually pursuing acting, you have a genuine interest in the arts at the end of the day. So I think that's the difference. Here you get the time, you get respect as an artist. Over there is zero respect. You're a piece of shit, and you'll always be a piece of shit unless you belong to a family of high standing that can just get you through the channels and, you know, shortcut your way through to a big Bollywood film.
It's a weird thing because, like, in India, there's a lot of money in Bollywood. There's a lot of money, and it's
and sex sells, man. Yeah. Sex sells over there. The amount of times I was offered by casting directors to compromise, and like gay casting directors, even though I'm straight, like just being offered, going like, well, if you want the role, you know what you have to do.
Wow, jeez.
And I always pretend to just go, oh no, I don't understand. Sorry, what? Oh, you have to compromise. Oh, sorry, I don't understand that word. Compromise in what way? Do you know what I mean? I'd always like play stupid.
That's
until either they felt too embarrassed or they just kept going on, and I'm just like, all right, well, I'm gonna fucking go, right? But that's all there is in India. There's either compromise, and even after the Me Too movement, which worked opposite in India, which is really funny, because I saw the Me Too movement, you know, take a fucking big, momentum in the States, and like, you know, people getting jailed and, you know, being investigated and this and that. In India, people just said, well, we'll just stop hiring females. I fucking kid you not. We'll just stop hiring females and we'll just, you know, fuck it. Like, if they're going to, you know, harass us, because it became more about men being attacked, and you're attacking us and you're our industry, you're destroying our industry. You women are horrible, cruel women.
But I saw
That's
more.
what it became
But I
about.
saw in the Indian industry, like, more non-Indians become famous. A lot of actors, or models rather, from other countries, like from like, I don't know, from Middle East and
Because sex sells.
sex sells. That's the other thing. Yeah.
That's really it.
Yeah.
All right. There's no actor in India who's made it to the top without fucking a few people. And that's the most honest truth I can give you. And that's my experience in that industry. I mean, on a lower level, I've experienced that. So on a higher level, that must be fucking rampart. Like, just rabid. You know what I mean? Like, it must be going around everywhere.
Man, that's really hard to hear, man. Like,
that's the industry there. And, you know, not to back, because there are a lot of really good filmmakers making good shit in India, man, and like good projects. So there definitely is cinema being made there. But I'm saying, like, that Bollywood aspect is it's a different world. And once you're in it, you're gonna have a roller coaster, and then you're gonna be spit back out. That's really how it works. Unless you are of some standing, of a family background that has existed from the past. Bollywood's a family business.
Yeah.
Hollywood is not really a family business. It's more kind of run by a certain minority, I guess. You know, like most of producers in LA, would you say that are Jewish?
Are Jewish.
Because they come from money, you know, they come from that old money, and they have that money to invest, so they hold the power to an extent, you know. And thanks to the woke movement, you know, that power is. Let's talk about James Hartley.
I've diligently sat silent here.
He pretended to like not know what that was.
That's a very nice segue to talk about what did you want to talk about? What did you want to talk about? You said you wanted to talk about some things.
Did I mention what kind of things I wanted to talk about?
No, I was trying to get it out of you, and then you wouldn't tell me.
Australian industry.
I don't really know.
Australian
okay.
industry.
I knew you wouldn't.
The Australian industry.
As of wokeness and
yeah, I just think as actors we're all entitled pieces of shit, and I think we need to step out of our own assholes and just look back to us and just go, you know what, we can do better than just, you know, parading our shit around people, going we're so important. We're not. You know, as I said, our jobs are important as artists. I mean, if you look at the pandemic, the worst the world has gone through, our job was essential, you know, because people were, you know, consuming content left, right, and center. But there's so many actors that just act like top shit, man. Honestly, just do your job and get the fuck out. Like, be a professional. Like that's my one thing on set. I always get from editors. One thing is continuity. They thank me. Several times I've gone to premieres and they've thanked me, going, man, your continuity is on fucking point. Like editing you is the easiest thing in the world. You're making their job easier. I don't know how I got into that segue.
He asked you about the Australian industry,
but
and then you were talking about how actors are acting top shit and stuff.
and then he said how good you were on set.
no, yeah, exactly. I dug myself a hole.
No, it's understandable, man. Like, but the big thing is that for you, what's the biggest challenge so far? You as an actor in Sydney, in New South, and in Australia, and yeah, let's go with that.
The biggest challenge so far. Look, I feel like the last few years of my life have been a complete game changer to me. Coming close to not existing has really put things into perspective. And really, what I mean to say by like stop being so fucking entitled is really just like take a step back. All right, grow as a human fucking being first. Because a lot of actors come to me and they're like, oh, how do you what's your process? How do you do this? And I'm just like, I live my life fully. I don't live my life to become a successful actor. I live my life to become a good human being, or as good as I can be. And this year for me has been mostly about self-love and being selfish in a good way. I feel like people take the word selfish and go, oh, well, he's a selfish prick. Selfish can have negative connotations, but to me, in this year, it's been all about self-love, because my self-love to me has been absolute garbage over the last, I'd say, 10 years. And, a lot of that has to do with being an actor, because my approach to acting was the shitter I feel, the more terrible experiences I have in life, the more I'll be able to give to this craft.
Yeah.
And really, going to Lee Strasberg at 18, that kind of got ingrained in my mentality. I was like, I'm gonna, I need pain in my life. I need suffering. I need to bring my acting to the next level, so I can bring that into my acting and bring that, that experience. And even though a lot of that is like, you should go out and experience and get hurt, and not purposefully, but I actually went out and looked for those things, and I feel like I manifested getting sick. There's a part of me that thinks that I manifested that shit, where I was like, I just want to die. I'm a piece of shit. Just like the self-love wasn't there. And eventually I feel like I manifested getting fucking cancer, even though it's a shit card. Anyone could get it. I craved that suffering so I could suffer for my art. And then after I got sick, I was like, fuck this art. And that's why I'm here where I am, you know what I mean? Like, where I said, fuck this shit. We're all entitled pieces of shits. We think we can, suffering, James Dean, back in the day. But the world is so fucking different now, so man. Different. Like, we don't live in the Marlon Brando and the James Deans, the Clint Eastwood eras, you know what I mean? We live in an era where
we have everything.
Where really you could VFX and SFX anything. You don't have abs, no worries. We'll just stick it on you. You're not crying, don't worry, no worries. We'll stick a tear coming from your eye. Anything is possible. You really don't need to know how to act. At this point anymore, you don't need to go to acting school. You don't need to learn the craft. But if you want to, you should. You don't need to do any of that things to be famous if that's what you want to be anymore. Because when I went to Strasbourg, you still needed to go to, like 10, 15 years ago, you still needed to go to acting school to learn acting. But nowadays you don't need to. You can read books, you can go online, there's coaching, there's this, that, everything's there. So I'm at a place now where it's just like, I don't care if I become successful or not anymore. I think I've removed what the definition of success means to me as an actor in my head. I've left it up to whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm going to focus on my business, on being a chef, on making pocket rockets taking it to the next level and, you know, making it a very successful franchise, hopefully, at someday. And on the side, I'm acting, you know, I'm still doing 5 auditions a week. I'm running a full-time business and it's fucking crazy. But you know what? It's taken me out of my funk of depression and got me busy and got me doing things. As an actor, if you're just doing acting, you're not getting auditions one week. You're just going, oh, fuck, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a terrible actor. I'm not getting roles. I haven't got a single callback in 6 months. But my agent's just like, bro, the last 2 tapes me and you did, Neil, like the 2 big ones, like my agent's gonna come back and saying, mate, I love those fucking tapes. And I've just gone back saying, I haven't gotten a single call back. And he's like, mate, just stick with it. Just keep doing exactly what you're doing and something will land because I believe in you. They are good. I'm not lying to you. And that's one thing he doesn't do, Anthony, he doesn't lie. He'll tell you the truth. If it's not good, he's like, do it again. Do you know what I mean? So I'm really grateful to have actually a really good agent who pushes you, who really believes in you at the end of the day when you don't believe in yourself, when you stop believing in yourself.
It's great that he actually, like, you guys have that conversation because I certainly don't have that kind of conversation with my agent. But like we do talk now and then, but that is really good to have.
You need to be friends with your agent. Not to the point where you just annoy him going, hey, did you hear back? Did you hear back? Did you hear back?
Yeah.
The thing is, once you do the audition, forget about it. One thing that will bring you even, you know, much more down in like your mood if you keep thinking, oh man, like I hope I get that role. Like you have those 15 minutes, do your best and just forget about it. You know, let them get back to you, because if you're selected for whatever role that you're auditioning for, you will be good enough. You are good enough at the end of the day.
Yeah. This interview can go on for fucking ever, and I wanted to go on forever, but it's not going to.
It's so much fun.
But but I want to just finish up a few things, just because I also want to make sure that people, you can have, like, you know, one of those things like you grab something, you give back to some other people. It's like what would you want kids to know? Like, what do you know other people who are in
like starting off, beginning,
yeah, or like who are like a bit like us, who are brown and beautiful.
Or
okay, you know, you could be humble.
You could be humble.
That's fine.
No, like like what is because I like just going back to what you're becoming now, right? I think it's not acting or creative pursuit you do. It's not what you are, it's who you are, right?
Yeah, it's not like we were speaking about this the other day. Like, it's not like all the 8-week courses or these acting classes and coaches and all that stuff you're going to. Yeah, keep your muscles working if that's what you want to do. I don't care about it. I don't care about going to coaching classes or, you know, I do a theatre show once a year. I'll try to, because that for me is coming back to my roots.
Yeah.
And that's all the training I really need again. Like, I've been to Strasbourg, I've done a year there, and I was like, you know, I've learned what I needed to learn. I've developed a technique that I've used over the last 10, 12 years in film sets, this and that, and I still use the same technique. So yeah, go to an acting school if, as I said, don't go because you want to become famous or, you know, you want other things, or you want to become a, you know, great actor. Don't do that because of that reason. Do it because you want to become a good human being and a great actor in the process. But take that time to really not compete with other people, but really build your technique. Really build the start the groundwork of what's going to be the rest of your life, because you've chosen this now, right? I feel like a lot of people go into it so blindly, and they don't actually, and this is being said so many times, they don't see the actual sweat and the hard work that goes behind it, you know. And I don't know.
Well, I think like James like put me down to earth the other day, and he's like, well, you know, do you want to? It doesn't matter. You get it now or get it later. You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, I was having a conversation with you like yesterday that I'm just like, I'm so done. I'm so done being an actor. Like, I can't do it
don't
anymore.
worry about it. It's okay.
And then it's you know, you're surrounding yourself with people who are going, mate, like, you're gonna get it. Like, you know, it's eventually gonna come through. just be patient, keep doing good things, keep auditioning, and keep living your life to your best ability on the side, like acting is not your life. Your life is much more than just one thing that you're focusing on. You're not growing if you're just focusing on one thing. A lot of the greatest actors will always tell you, go to museums, read more books. Like you would agree, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
like that's the way you will grow. Like go out and talk to strangers. People don't talk to strangers anymore. There's no strangers anymore. Everyone's connected. So everyone feels like, well, they can say whatever the fuck they want. But really, when you go out and you talk to random people, you learn boundaries.
I think it's something about when you have conversation with people. Like, when we text people or whatever, it's all consciousness. Like we're conscious to talk. Like we sometimes edit the thing. We make it very polished to send it to someone. But when you have a stranger conversation, it's not polished, and it's like, and you find things out in a weird subconscious way about some of the people. Like you don't have to like.
Well, you're processing information in a different way. That's what's happening. You're processing it differently because you're hearing it into your brain instead of reading it and then to your brain. It's a different way of processing it. So I think it changes you differently. It makes you grow differently. But honestly, man, like to people that are like, pursuing acting and going for, this life that we have chosen a long time ago and where, we're still here. How long has it been for you guys, if you don't mind me asking? Like, I'm not saying like since birth, but since you're like, this is what I want to do, after high school kind of thing. I've decided I'm going to go study acting. I want to pursue this and I'll do little side jobs on the side to keep this passion alive. Like how long has it been? 10 years, I'd say, at least?
I mean, I graduated high school in 2005.
2005.
Yeah.
I graduated 2009. Yeah. So it's been almost, what?
I don't know how to
12,
count.
13 years. It's been like 15 years for you then. Because like, was it right after high school you said like, this is it?
I mean, even before, I mean, like I knew, I don't know, somehow we all knew that I was, the first play I did was when I was 12, so it was just like, I don't know.
This is what I love. This is what I want to do.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a second thought, right?
Not really. No, I don't know where it began because even that first play, it was like somehow my mum knew. It's like, oh yeah, James would want to audition for a play, even though I'd never been in a play before or expressed that I wanted to act. But somehow it was a given that, oh yeah, he'd want to audition for this.
It was innate.
Yeah.
Right? So it's always kind of been in your system.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. There's like actors like us who don't really have a choice.
Yeah, we don't have a choice.
You know what I mean? We're just like, I've been doing it. If I had to like say that, like I've been doing it since I was 6, 7 years old. Since my mom was the school teacher at the school that I was at, and then she would put me into plays.
Yeah,
so like I didn't really have a choice.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who have a choice and then decide to go into it know what the fuck you're getting into.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not an easy road, and you're going to be facing a lot of disappointments. But really, if you want to grow as an actor, stop thinking about, acting. Acting is the art of doing. Really.
Yeah, absolutely.
And acting is not the art of acting.
No.
Acting is the art of doing. So stop being an actor on camra.
Just be a doer.
Just be. Just do.
Yeah, just be and do.
Just do the problems that have been given to you. Like look at it as a maths equation.
Yes.
You have this character. You have certain problems, certain situations this character's in. You have certain tasks that you need to do, and you have a certain arc that you need to achieve. And it's a math problem, really. Like that's how I approach my characters. It's just like, okay, I ask the questions that need to be asked, Indian, and you approach it like a problem, and you find the solution. And you're really just a problem solver as an actor. You're solving the problem of how to come at playing that character. And like any maths equation, there can be several ways to get to that answer. And that's our several different methods and ways to get to the crux of the character.
Yeah, Bill Nye was like, I don't have time to feel anything on stage. It's like I've just got all this shit to do.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's the same thing. If you feel anything, it's just a byproduct of you doing things.
Correct.
You know, but yeah, when we're up there, we're working.
Yeah.
You know, we need to like do this. This is next, and I need to do that.
Remember the cues, the
Yeah,
blocking.
yeah.
Walk here. I got to pick up my theme.
I need to change this person. I need to look at them and make them angry. I need to do this.
Yeah.
And then yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but
functional.
I started acting when I was 28, 27.
Yeah,
Very
no,
late,
it's
like-
very, it's a choice. Right?
I did have a choice.
Right.
I made a choice.
You made a choice, and you're in this. And but the thing is, I see the love, I see the passion, the way you talk about it. Like it almost feels like you didn't have a choice at the end of the day. But you're in it, knowing the risks that you're taking with this craft.
Oh, and I've felt the risks, but I'm sure there's more to come later on. But you always got to walk this life in caution. You know, everything comes to an end.
Yeah, walk it in caution, but don't let it limit you. Don't let it stop you from doing the craziest thing possible. Yeah, man. Yeah, just fucking go for it. Go for everything you need to go for.
Well, that was a good podcast.
Was it?
Almost an hour.
Almost an hour. You're probably the longest we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're certainly the longest I've ever had.
Did you hear that, guys?
You can go the distance.
best I ever had. The best
I don't know about the best. I mean, being quite long can be painful sometimes.
Yeah,
So
it can be. This is quality. Once there you go. You
That's what
may
she
have a
said.
longer relationship, but come on,
being
now.
quite long can be quite painful
Come on
sometimes. James Hartley has
James
given up
knocking
the
out.
mic.
He's tapping out. Thanks so
The wo-
much. Hey,
The woke person has tapped out.
all right. Thanks, everybody.
thanks so much for joining in. Kabir, that was great. Thank you so much for coming on. It only took you like
I was super
a
nervous.
year.
Yeah, I know.
I've been asking you to come on and read my script and stuff.
Yeah. So Neil will from now on for the next, I think so, a month, no calls from me. I will ignore him completely
Of course you will.
and ruin this friendship forever.
Lovely. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks,
Thank you, Chukas guys. Chukas.
Chukas all. Bye.
Love you.